Give me that juice. Artisan electric. Give me that juice.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition to Toolbox Talk Friday. This week, we're going to talk about GFCIs. Okay, let's dive in. What does GFCI stand for? I suppose that's where we should start. GFCI is short for ground fault circuit interrupter. It's a safety device designed to prevent electrical shocks, harm, death, and specifically cardiac arrest. They work by measuring the imbalance of current between the supply conductors, the hots and the neutrals in a circuit. It's well established in the medical world that current flow to the human body as little as 30 milliamps, which is not very much power, less than what's used by a common light bulb, can cause cardiac arrest. GFCIs are designed to sense the imbalance in a circuit and interrupt the current flow at a threshold of 0.5 milliamps, and they're supposed to react in 1/10 of a second. So those are the conditions that can prevent cardiac arrest. Next, let's talk about where GFI protection is required and recommended. There is a complete section in the NEC codebook dedicated to GFI protection. That is section 210-8 in the current 2020 NEC code. There is a lot to unpack there. Not going to go through all of that now. Suffice it to say that there is a lot of confusion about GFI protection, and we see a lot of concerns with local inspection jurisdiction, builders, and enforcement and understanding of this part of the code. And it's a moving target. These things tend to change from time to time. But let's go through some of the important highlights. GFCIs are required within 6 foot from any water source. A great example of that would be your bathtub or kitchen sink. A GFCI is required to protect the circuits that power any vessel of water that you enter. So that'd be a pool, a spa, a hot tub, also applies to steam rooms and saunas. GFCIs are required for unconditioned spaces and unfinished spaces. So think of a shop space or an unfinished garage or even unfinished spaces in a basement. Electrical circuits or equipment in wet locations are required to be GFI protected. A great example of that might be a circuit that feeds a lift in an auto body shop where there's going to be wet vehicles coming in. Exterior outlets on both residential and commercial buildings are required to be GFI protected. Another interesting point on GFCIs that we want to make is that it's the only 3-wire device, you'll see the 3 prongs on here, that are allowed to be installed on a 2-wire ungrounded circuit. We'll dive into that completely in another talk. There's a lot to go through there. Finally, if you have any questions about GFCI protection, feel free to call us here at Artisan Electric and we'll be happy to walk you through the finer points.